Yeah. So. Well, welcome to the Down to Earth podcast by Orbit Church with yours truly. We're going to switch the camera over to Perez and Brecklin.
We're
Can y'all
here.
say hi to your camera over there?
What's up?
What's up?
Yeah.
We got a new member.
D2E.
We got a new member in the room.
We do.
We do.
We don't have a camera that can show him, but we got Jacob switching.
Let's go.
Transitioning. Speaking of transitioning, we're going to be recording a series of podcasts over the next several weeks and months that are just really answering questions that people would have. Some of them are going to express our values and why we think the way that we do, why we operate the way that we do. Others will hopefully just be of value to you in your personal spiritual walk. And so we're going to jump into those over the next few weeks. And the one we thought would be the most helpful to start with is, why should I join the launch team? What is a launch team? Brecklin, when I said launch team for the first time, what did you think?
I don't know. It just sounds, well, first it kind of sounds like a play on words with orbit. Like I thought it was just only
because we're clever.
thing. Yeah. But then I realized that's just like kind of how all churches put it, starting churches. But I don't know. It sounds like what it's going to be. Like you're launching a church, you're starting a church. So
Yeah. What about you, Perez? Did you hate it?
No, I just didn't know what it was.
What did you think it was?
I don't know. Obviously, it was a team, and I texted you. We were talking about tech stuff, and I was like, "What is a launch team?" And then you sent me this like document from Facebook or something like that from Highlands, and so I didn't know what it was, but now that I've been a part of a few of them, I like them.
Oh, Church of the Highlands?
Mm-hmm.
I remember sending you that document.
Yep.
And then I sent you our bylaws, and you were like, hey, one of these says Alabama, but you meant Arizona. Remember that?
Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, man, Perez was a good dude to bring on.
That was in finance. It was like somewhere in the finance.
Yeah, that's that copy and paste life. You got to be careful with it. I'm just kidding. We have our own bylaws. But yeah, so the launch team, I've noticed that it's been one of those things that people are like, well, what is that? Mm-hmm. What is a launch team? Well, a launch team is what it sounds like if you're thinking about, I guess, launching a church, which most people aren't. But that's what we're doing. We're launching a church. In order to launch an effective church, you need to have a team. Mm-hmm. You got to have a kids team. You need to have a worship team, a production team, a hospitality team, all the other teams. You need to have a group of people who are established and equipped at helping other people who show up for the first time. So in order to get that group of people, when you just parachuted into a city, you got to build that team from scratch. Now, we were blessed enough to have about 8 to 10 adults move out and be a part of this, but we have a desire for a lot more people to join that team. So what's it look like to be on a launch team? It looks like whatever it would look like to be a part of a startup. But specifically, we're talking about spiritual things and launching this church. There are a couple things that I tell anyone who is interested in joining the launch team. I've kind of boiled it down. There's a teaching from, I'm going to teach you guys today. There's a teaching. I see Jacob petting the dog in the background, and I'm ADHD. So it's okay. You can do it, but I'm just going to let everybody else know about it. There's a teaching from this guy up in kind of the Pacific Northwest, from the guy who wrote the book Blue Like Jazz, and he's got like a whole entrepreneurship group that's been really helpful to me. He wrote a book called Story Brand, Donald Miller, and what he talks about, I don't even know where it was, but he talked about the idea of communication being you giving people bowling balls. So every point of communication, you're giving them a bowling ball. Mm-hmm. How many bowling balls can a person carry? How many do you think, Brecklin? How many could you carry? Just two? God, no wonder people don't get all of them. I'm just kidding. How about you, Chris? How many bowling balls could you carry?
Probably 4 or 5.
4 or 5? How would you do it?
I'll just stack them. Or I get somebody else to stack them for me.
You stack them?
I just put them in my hand and then get Maggie to like put them on top of each other.
Those things are slippery, man. So I boiled it down. I think I could probably carry 6. I put my fingers in one, my fingers in the other.
Ooh.
and then I would put one on my forearm, another on my forearm. Then I'd bring it in, and I'd put like one or two up on top of those, and I could walk around. But it'd be miserable, right? So generally, people can only carry between 2, 3, and 4 bowling balls. So I boiled down what it means to be on the launch team to 4 crucial components. The first one is to attend. The second is to contribute financially. The third is to tell others about or invite them. And then the fourth is to serve. 4 things. ACTS. That's what we call an acronym. Oh, yeah. An acronym for ACTS. You got the acts of an apostle. You also got the acts of a launch team member. So let me break those down really quickly, because I really think it's not just about being on the launch team. It's about operating in a way that God's called us to operate. So you've got the acts, attendance. The scriptures tell us, specifically in Hebrews, that we should not neglect the gathering together with the brothers. That's the Christian people in our lives. That's church. That's when we come together to worship God and to serve together and reach out to those who don't know Jesus. It requires us to be there. Attendance is crucial. And so when it comes to the launch team, people got to show up. You got to show up to glow up.
Hey.
Yeah, I thought it was clever, but maybe it's not. You got to show up. And so attendance is crucial for you to learn our culture, to learn more about God. Many people are coming to Jesus for the first time, right? They haven't had a relationship with him. They've trusted in him, and they're finding peace, experiencing him. But if you don't show up, then you're going to fall right back into the things you were stuck in.
Yeah.
And so we encourage people to attend regularly. The second thing is to contribute financially, and everybody freaks out about that. It's always a fun conversation. One thing that a lot of people talk about that is not as crucial to me is the fact that, businesses run on income. And so in order to launch this church, we've got to have income. So that's one portion of it. But the more important portion is that God calls us to give back out of what he has so graciously given to us. How much has God given you? Give me a percentage. How much has God given you in your life? Give me a percentage.
100%.
100%.
Yeah.
Come on.
You too, Karaz?
100%.
Now 5% was given to you by some dude down the street.
For sure, 100%.
Yeah, God gave it to him too. God gave us 100% of everything.
Yeah.
And the scriptures are fairly clear that, and people may argue with this, but the scriptures to me are fairly clear that God's called us to give the best of the first fruits. This is an agricultural society that the Bible was written in. The best of the first fruits to the local storehouse, which would then, y'all gonna hate this part, would then be sent and distributed throughout all of Israel by the Levitical priests. Let me bring it to today. God calls us to give the best of our first fruits to the local storehouse. What that means is the best. What is the best of your income? The best of your income is the first of your income, right? So that means to me 10% of your gross income before it goes to the governing authorities, before it goes to your hobbies, before it goes even to our families. It's supposed to go to the Lord, the first 10%, and we believe it goes to the local church, similar to the local storehouse, because that's what God has decided to use to represent him in this world. And I could give you story after story about how many people have trusted God with their finances and were blessed in every area of their life, including their financial area. But I digress and belabor that point. The third thing is to tell others. We really believe that God's going to do a big work here in the West Valley. And so those who show up and experience God, whether it's at an event or in a small group or something like that, man, tell others about what God's doing. God's called us to represent him in this world. So let's go tell people about all the cool things he did. He gave me peace. He changed my perspective. He helped me grow. He helped my relationship with my spouse. He helps me parent better. My Netflix queue doesn't look as dumb as it did before Jesus.
Yeah.
I didn't have Netflix before Jesus because I'm 35 years old and I'm old. But you know what I'm saying? You guys were all stuck on Game of Thrones, and now you're spending time doing more important things with your life. Ain't nothing wrong inherently with Game of Thrones. But God changed everything about me, and I feel better. So I'm going to tell others about what he's doing. And by telling others, they come to know Jesus. And now all of a sudden your friend groups are more established in faith, and you like your life better because you told them about what God did in you. The fourth thing is to serve. Because as a church, we are We are fundamentally, and I think primarily, a transport vessel to help people who don't know Jesus come into a relationship with Jesus. We're transporting them from point A to point B. And it's so crucial in helping them do that we do what the Bible tells us, to offer our bodies as living sacrifices, holy and acceptable to Him. That's our reasonable act of worship. And we do that most effectively, I think, through serving. It wasn't until I started serving that I realized who God was at a deeper level, that I started seeing Him do miraculous things around me, that I realized He could use me to do something helpful for somebody else spiritually. You see that when you serve. And I think all four of those things, attendance, contributing financially, telling others and inviting people, and then serving them, that will help you be more well-rounded in your faith. And so that's what it looks like to join the launch team. There are real pragmatic things to that, but essentially that's what we're inviting people to do. And if you join the launch team, it's going to be on Sunday nights right now, which means you're probably going to go to church on a Sunday morning, and then you're going to go on Sunday night, and then you're going to have to prep for other things throughout the week, and then we're going to have a random social event that pops up. It's going to be hectic. It's going to take grit, because ministry is a grind, but it's worth it.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's worth it. So what else am I missing, Brecklin? Am I missing anything when it comes to being on the launch team? What would you like to tell people about being on the launch team? You've been hustling to get people serving this Sunday for our social. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
True.
or whatever Sunday.
I don't know. I guess if and when you do join the launch team, assuming that you would,
When?
I would say, like, keep an open mind about things. Like, if you think that you're called to one area, you should really pray on that and think, maybe I could do well in this other area. Maybe I would do well in hospitality. Maybe I would do well in kids. Like, there's a few people on the team who are like, yeah, I don't do well with kids, or just like, but then you put them in kids because you need them there, and then they end up really loving it. So I just think keeping an open mind to different areas and just like praying on that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like that part of Nacho Libre. You ever seen that movie? He says sometimes to be a man, or sometimes men wear stretchy pants. And that's what I would encourage. If you're going to adult in your faith, sometimes you got to wear stretchy pants. You got to be flexible and malleable, because God wants to do something in you. And if you're stubborn, then man, he's going to have to push you. And the things that are rigid and solid, they tend to crack rather than bend. And we want to be flexible. I thought that's helpful, Brecklin. I was talking to someone just yesterday, and they looked me dead in the face. They said, dead in the face, straight in the face. I don't know. They looked straight at me, fixed their gaze on me, and they said, "I'm interested. I don't know if I could offer anything." And I sat there, and I had a conversation with them already, and they had just told me that they've been reading the Bible lately and just want to do everything they can to know more about Jesus. And I'm sitting here like, yo, that passion in itself is enough as you step into serving or doing something like that, where, man, passion communicates. It's contagious. There are people all over the world who know the Bible, but they don't apply it. And so it's not attractive or contagious. Man, just showing up consistently and being passionate about knowing Jesus will speak to people. And whatever area you find yourself in, if you're passionate about Jesus, it's going to connect. Yeah. And so if you're out there and you're thinking like, I don't know what I can do, trust me, God placed it in you. And it's our job to help you bring that out.
Yeah.
Like the Bible actually says, I don't use a lot of Bible today. My job as a pastor of this church is to equip Christians for the work that He's called them to. I'm going to help you. We're here for you. We're all here for you. What about you, Perez? What say you to someone who's like interested but maybe isn't sure whether they should join the team?
Yeah, I have more fun at launch team meetings. I think because it's not only are we getting information and housekeeping stuff for the church, but it's family, it's friends, it's community. I'm a people person, and so like I love to be around people. My energy feeds off other people.
Yeah.
And so I would say just come try it out. If you want to be a part of a community, people that love you and want to help you with life and just be there for you.
Yeah.
I would say this is a place.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who just feel isolated and they're ready to do something more than kind of sit at home. And there are a lot of people that like, you're not alone if that's you.
Yeah.
Like, tons of people. And it's not just people who are introverted, it's everyone. I know crazy extroverted people who just desperately want to be out, but the culture is just different post-COVID.
Yeah.
Well, come hang out. Come hang out. You don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have all your crap together. But we're just moving in a direction. And come explore that with us. Yeah, there's so many things. But if you join, I'll send you an onboarding document. You can keep as kind of a helper. But the 4 things that are easy. I gave too many bowling balls already. The 4. What are they? The acts.
Oh, attend.
Attend. Contribute financially. No?
You want to go?
She's like, who's going? Who's going?
Yeah.
I don't care. Say it.
Attend, contribute, tell, serve.
Boom. See?
Boom.
Easy. Eventually they're going to memorize it. And we're going to see it all fleshing out. But Spirit's telling me to quit this one. I think that's enough.